Good morning or good afternoon from the UK. So today is the 27th of September 2023 and I'm going to go over my levels for today. On my screen at the moment is the MES Micros E-mini S&P Futures Index, and we're currently looking at the daily time frame. So we're just going to have a quick look and see where we are and where we could be going. Put my pen. So yesterday we saw this nice down candle, and we come down into the 200 moving average and into this area of demand as well. And today we've got a bit of a bounce going on, so we're pushing back up. How are we looking here? And so potential trades for today, if we can break below yesterday's low, which would be 43.03 to 4300, that's a significant area to break below. If we can break below there and retest it, I'll be looking for a short trade, but we are in an area of highly concentrated volume, so it will be quite hard to break through this area. So I've got a target area of 42. If we get through that target area, we've got 42.16, 4200 is the next area, and it was only a couple of days ago when we was at 4400 and I was thinking, oh, I doubt we'll get down to 4300, and we're already there. We got there today within a day, so potentially we can get down there if we see a big sell-off, but more likely we're going to see a bounce today because we are on the 200 moving average and we're quite far away from the 50, the 20 and the 8 moving average. So we are due a bit of a bounce, and if we were to take the fibs, if we do see a bounce, potentially we could see a bounce back up to this area here. 44.40 is a potential, and that would work out quite nicely because it's the retesting the bottoms of these pivots here. And we've got the 0.5 and the 618 both close to each other up here, and that's around 44.60, 44.70 area. So potentially if we do see a bit of a bounce over the coming days, we could see us move back up into this area, and we will still maintain the daily downtrend if that's the case. Okay, so that's it really. And if we don't bounce today, what could we be looking at? Yeah, I think the next target area would be what we just discussed, 42.40 to 4200. But like I said, we've got this big concentrated volume to get through, so it'd be hard to get down there. And we can see that with the increased volume on that profile indicator. So let's look at the hourly and some levels. So we're still trending. We're still within these channels we drew on yesterday and the day before, and we're currently sitting at current price is 43.30 area, and it happens to be coming into this yesterday's or the pre-market high. So what I'm looking for at the pre-market high, 43.35, is either, I'm really looking, because we're in a bit of an hourly, it hasn't really changed the trend yet, we need to break above that area. So if we can break above 43.35, I'll be looking for a bounce or a continuation of the trend with a potential target of 43.47, but we really need to see it break over yesterday's high, or I meant break over the pre-market high. And the same if we come down to the lows, I'll be looking for a bounce at 43.05, maybe with a stop around the 4300 area, and that's a psychological number as well. And I'll be probably looking for confirmation as well. Likely we're going to bounce because we are on the daily 200 moving average, so looking for a double bottom or better still a higher low, something like that, and for confirmation to get in. I may just get in with 1 or 2 contracts as a starter position and use 4300 as my stop area, because this zone's quite a big zone, and we can, I've got 42.83 as a potential area, and I've got a daily area at 42.77, so we can potentially come back down to that area, and that's a potential as well. So just be wary of these numbers as well. So if we do get down to 42.83, 42.77, then I'll be looking for a higher probability bounce with a stop at the bottom of that demand zone, 42.65. So that's really what I'm watching for. Nothing really complicated. So I'm looking for the break and retest of the pre-market high, and then the bounce off of 43.05, which is yesterday's low, and maybe 4,300 will be, or a bit below 4,300 by $1 will be my stop. And if we do break back down, then I'll be looking for possibly a break and retest short with a bounce coming into 42.83. So the levels, I like drawing these levels in because it does work pretty well. We can see the last few days we've been honouring all the levels every time. We're bouncing. Yesterday we came through, but we came back up and retested a level, and then we came down and tested that level, and lo and behold, in the pre-market and the post-market, we're back up to the level from yesterday and tested it again, and that's the lows from there. So, and also we're coming into the edge of this trend line pattern. I've drawn this downward, so maybe we could see a bit of a retracement back down. Okay, so that's the levels for MES. Let's look at SPY. This is the hourly on SPY. So same as MES, we've got yesterday's low, so we're watching for a break and retest low, but that's most likely we might see a bounce for double bottom. We're looking at pre-market. We've got this bottom tail candle, but this is the tinfoil hat level. So 8 o'clock you get lots of orders coming in, and I'm not sure if it means much, but potentially we could keep an eye on that area, 426, but 425 is the area to watch for a bounce. And if we break over 428.20 area, I'll be looking for a long. And I've got this low from here as well, and yesterday's high as well, which was at 429, 430 is an area to watch for a potential target. So to sum up, we got a bounce at 425, potential bounce at 426, a break and retest of 427 or 428, and 429 is a potential target or rejection area. Again, keep it simple, and if we do sell off today, we've got this demand zone similar to the ES we just looked at. So 422.50 is the preferred area to get in for a bounce, but this entire zone can act as your stop loss below and maybe layer in as we're coming in. Okay, so that's SPY. Look at Qs. So interesting, we broke that pivot yesterday at 355, 350, whatever that is, 354.50 area, and we instantly pulled back into it as well. So potentially we're putting in a higher low here for a change of trend on the hourly, but we won't know that. We really need to break the 360 area. So what we're looking at is a continuation of this trend at 356.40 with a potential target around 358 to 360, and that could act as a rejection area. It could also act as a, what are we looking at, the 4 hours going to the hourly. Here we go, it's better. So we've got this zone we just talked about, so 360 is a potential rejection area, and or it's a target if we're long on if we break the pre, so we're looking for a pre-market break and retest. And then obviously we've got the lows where we could see a double bottom come in for another move back up. And as with all levels, watching both directions, watching for the bounce or the break and retest long. I'll be watching volume as well. So if we do break down through this level, we should get some momentum and some higher volume, and then it needs to hold below that level for us to confirm that we are breaking that level. Nasdaq. go, so we've confirmed the weekly downtrend, broken that pivot, and potentially we are putting in a pivot there, so we could be looking for something like that. Let's go into the daily. So that's the break. If we put in a daily downtrend, if we were to pull back, let's look at the fibs. I like to draw a couple of level fibs in and then look to see where the fibs are close together. They're pretty well spaced. So we've got this higher area of concentrated volume coming in. So 15,400 is an area, potential rejection area, and we've got 50% around here. So 15,200, 15,300 is the 50% fibs, and the higher probability area is the 618 of 1530 to 1540. So if I was to look for a rejection, I'll be looking for around this area, which is the two fibs from these two pivots, the two 618s. These would most likely be high probability, so we could see it pull down, come right back up into this area for maybe another leg down. We won't know what it's going to do until we see it do it. So we'll play by ear on that. So that's a potential. If we see continuous selling today, then the next area to watch for, it's got to be around here, which is 14,300, and then we've got this area here, potentially 13,500 area. So these areas to watch for, and also we've got the rise in 200 moving average as well, coming in at 14,000, and that's a nice psychological number as well. So potentially this is an area to watch out for as well. And if we go left, we can see we did pull back down to that area and test 1400, and we've not been back down there since May. So 1400 is probably, if we stay below 1500 obviously, 1400 is probably an area to be targeting, and we should be coinciding with the 200 moving average as well. And finally, let's look at oil. Like this, nice double top on the hourly. We had that a few days ago. When was that? Back on the 19th. We've got it again today. We've got two, look at these topping tails, topping tail there, topping tail there, topping tail there, topping tail there. If we can break that hourly pivot there, then potentially we might be looking for a nice short or even a retest. So that's an area to watch, and look at that, the area has already been marked up. So that's the area to watch for, which is 91.93 for potential short, but with confirmation as well. You know, oil's pretty strong at the moment. If you look at the daily, we're still in an uptrend. Did we make a new high? We made a new high yesterday as well. Not an all-time high, just a new high from the recent days. And so we're definitely, let's put that one. We're definitely in a uptrend. So until we break this area, which I thought we were going to do a couple of days ago, then we can't confirm the downtrend in the oil just yet. So higher volume may signal the end of a trend. We normally get higher volume coming in. So potentially we've got quite toppy as well. So we've got a few topping candles there as well, topping tails. And we'll see what happens today. But I think in the hourly, if you were to take this as an hourly, maybe as a swing, the break of that candle, especially with these topping tails showing that there's definitely sellers there. And we've got higher volume as well coming into this candle. So we could potentially see a bit of selling today. But it's strong, so it needs to be with confirmation. So we've got to break down through there and with a tight stop. So let's look at the levels. So that's the double top we've been talking about on the daily as well. if we are short, then we have this potential area here, which is the point of control on that volume tool. So we have higher concentrated volume here, and it's an area of support, so we could, and it's an area of demand as well, so we could see it pull back into this area. Yeah, I think that's the most likely. It's still above all the moving averages, above the 200, above the 50, above the 20, and it's above the VWAP, and it's above the 8 moving average. So it is due to pull back a bit as well. Potentially the 50 and the 200 is a nice area for it to pull back to. And the last time it did that, it came in here. What's that, on the 21st? Touched the 200, came through the 200. Didn't really stay below it long. Was that in pre-market? And then we came back down. So we have tested it a few times. And this time here it came up, retested it and back down, but still showing significant strength, so it's something to keep an eye on. I think that's it really. I'm going to go back to the MES just to quickly sum up levels I'm watching today. Quite simple levels. I'm watching for the break to continue the uptrend, continue this uptrend in the pre-market high. So 43.35, a break and retest is what I'm really looking for. So that's with confirmation. Or I'm looking for a bounce at 4300 to 43.05, this area here for potential bounce if we come back down. If standing insignificant, then I'll be looking for a break and retest, but this entire supply zone and demand zone will be tough to get through, because we talked about this earlier. There's quite a lot of volume and it's an area of demand as well. So two long plays I'm really watching for. And for rejections, potential rejection off of the 50 and this 43, 47, 43, 50 area, and that's purely coming into this top area, so we could be coming up to retest it. If you see it on the daily, it will be a break and retest on the daily. So 43, 47 as a potential rejection, 43.50 maybe as a stop. And then if we get up into this area here, the supply zone, 43.62 to 43.60 as potential rejection as well. And don't forget, all these areas can act as targets as well. So if we're seeing significant buy-in, we can have a target here, a target here, and a target here. So I think that's it really. Okay, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. And I'll be back here tomorrow at 9 AM Eastern Time or 2 PM here in the UK. Thanks for watching.